Welcome, Formula One fans. It is Saturday, March the 9th, 2024. This is the Formula One News Hour. I'm your host, Jonathan Steele. And we're into the second race of the season. And let's start off by thanking our sponsors. Let's thank the folks at Thinology. That's Thinology.com. They are all things technical for you guys in the in business and technology business. If you need private cloud, public cloud, co-location, managed services, disaster recovery, you name it in technology, Thinology has it. That is Thinology.com. Let's thank the folks at Moms for Liberty, trying to do for you what you need to do for you. Yes, you. You need to get involved with your kids' education. Get onto a school board. Join a chapter of Moms for Liberty. Get involved and let's change what's being taught in our schools out there. Let's change from all of this woke stuff on social, whatever, sexual preferences, what am I, all that kind of stuff that kids don't even need to be thinking about at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, or even for that matter at 12, 13. That's plenty of time for that when they become adults. Get involved with Moms for Liberty. That is momsforliberty.org. And of course, the folks at Give, Send, Go. So when you have something unexpected to happen to you, you can choose to go to Give, Send, Go to get help. One of the best crowdfunding entities there is. There's no censorship. They don't care what your preferences are, whether you're Democrat or liberal or whatever it is, conservative. They just don't care. Please go to givesendgo.com. That is givesendgo.com, which is where you need to go for help, whether it is to help out with an emergency, you want to help a friend with an emergency, or maybe you just want to raise some money for a business. So anyway, let's get started with this week's news. And of course, I'm sad to say that there's not a lot of news because, well, the first race proved that 2023 hasn't ended. But you know, there's been all of this chatter in the background about, Christian Horner having some kind of inappropriate relationship. And of course, then he got, everybody wanted Christian to walk away, resign, you're a bad person, you're even an evil person. Oh, wait a minute. It turns out that Christian was investigated by an independent third party, a law firm hired by Red Bull. And oh, guess what? Christian's not so guilty after all. But wait a minute. Yes, he is, because those sleuth detectives of the big time news media, they found a copy of all the texts that Christian had been sending between him and this woman he'd just been cleared of having an inappropriate relationship. But wait a minute, who is this woman? She is the mistress of Jos Verstappen, Max Verstappen's father. What? Yes, they wanted to get rid of Christian Horner, so it looks like they kind of worked with them, with each other to try and get rid of Christian Horner. And wait, more exciting news. Christian Horner wants to get rid of Helmut Marko. Christian Horner want to get rid of Helmut Marko? No. Are you following what's going on here, folks? There's nothing exciting going on the track for all of the big time media because, like I say, it's just an extension of 2023. So what they're trying to do is drum up something to talk about. Remember, they've got to have clicks. They got to have eyeballs on those screens. They got to have. And so I think what we're in for this season is not a lot of race reporting, but a lot of junk reporting, news media outfits looking for clicks and that. And it just destroys their credibility. I don't know if they realize this, but when they make up all these rumors and then make these accusations and make these demands, Christian Horner's got to go. He's a bad, evil person. The problem with rumors is that sometimes that just started as a means for removing or for just selling eyeballs or whatever. But what is not a rumor, and which is how would you say, exciting news this week? I won't say exciting for the Ferrari driver, and his name escapes me for a moment, but it will Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz had his appendix removed yesterday, and so we've got a young British guy, Ollie Berman. Here's some interesting news for you about Ollie Berman. Ollie Berman's 18 years old, which will make him the youngest British driver to ever race in a Formula One. It will make him the youngest driver ever to race for Ferrari, to sit in a Ferrari race car in Formula One. And other interesting stuff. There's a guy by the name of Sir Jackie Stewart. His first race was the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And his first starting position at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix was 11th. Excuse me, allergies. Ollie Berman qualified 11th, just 300ths of a second away from getting into Q3. But so some exciting stuff there going on. I expect that we'll probably see that Ollie Berman will make his way and probably finish somewhere in the middle of the field. Don't expect too much from him. He's 18 years old, but he's got a good car. Carlos Sainz has proved that. Coming in high in the let's say came in for the most part in the top 5 for most of 2023 and beginning last week in Bahrain. So he's got a good car. Let's see how he does. The other exciting thing that came out of qualifying, of course, there's a big surprise, and that is Max Verstappen is on the pole. Yeah, you heard it, folks. Max Verstappen is on the pole. But here's the biggest surprise still. Charles Leclerc is alongside him. Wait, I think we've seen that a few times in 2023. And oh yes, behind him is Sergio Perez, and a good start for the Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso starting in 4th place. So the race, they're about to get onto the formation lap here, and so this track is actually about 2.4 miles long. It's one of the longer tracks. There's 27 turns. There's more turns in this track than any other track, but it's also a very, very fast track and great, lots of places, a long straightaway to be able to, and a long curve on the track to be able to enable DRS and get past your competitor. So we're going to start watching here as we get ready for the start of this race. The 3 tires. I turned down the volume here. The 3 tires, of course, are the hard, the medium, and the soft. And of course, this should be a one-stop race. Maybe a lot of the drivers starting on soft and then going to hard, and a lot of the hard drivers starting on hard and going to soft. Although I would think that most of them are probably going to choose to go to start on the soft, get the cars settled in, and maybe make some headway up through the field in the early stages of the race, hoping that the midway through and towards the end, as the hard tires start to come to them, that they'll be able to go ahead and make up some positions. So starting at dead last is Joe Granu, and next to him Logan Sargent, followed by Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. There's those Alpines starting all the way at the back again. Nico Hülkenberg's in 15th, and Valtteri Bottas is starting in 16th. Up ahead of them is Kevin Magnussen, and then Danny Ricciardo. Kind of a poor qualifying session for Danny Ricciardo. And then the young guy, Oliver Bierman and Alex Albon in the Williams. Yuki Tsunoda did a really good job in qualifying, and he's in 9th, and alongside him is Lance Stroll. George Russell is in 7th, and Lewis Hamilton is in 8th. Not a good showing from Mercedes at all. Then we've got the next rows taken up by the McLarens, Oscar Piastri, who outqualified his teammate Lando Norris. And then, of course, in third, Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso. And then, of course, in pole or on pole is Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. So we should see probably some exciting racing in the backfield, midfield, maybe more towards the back today. We got as those teams do seem to be getting a little better. It's good to see the Williams up there a little bit, and of course we've got both of the Aston Martins up in the top 10, which is very good for Aston Martin. So we've got a kind of, as I said, we've got the 2023 season still going, and of course that is that you've got Red Bull, then Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren, Aston Martin. Not necessarily in that order, of course. I think that the Mercedes folks have got to be scratching their head because they really thought that they had come away with a really good car for this season as they come up and they're finishing the formation lap now. I think they really thought that they had a good car, but obviously they don't have the car that they thought they did. Aston Martin has not made a lot of improvement on last year. If you remember at the beginning of last year, Fernando Alonso had 3 or 4 podium finishes and maybe 4 or 5 and was looking really well. Then they fell off mid-season and then started to come back at the end of the season. It looks like they've just picked up at the end of the season where they left off. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly where and how these guys decide to fit in. And while we're waiting for the formation lap to end here and for us to get to the start of the race, folks, as we've committed going forward each and every week, or when we have this podcast on the live races and of course I guess on the history as well, we are going to be giving a public service announcement, a shout out to Race Against Dementia. For those of you who are new and listening for the first time, Race Against Dementia is an organization started by Sir Jackie Stewart. His wife Helen is a dementia sufferer, and he started this organization a few years ago to look for and see if he can help find a cure for that dreaded disease. So please go to Race Against Dementia and make your donation to help a really good cause. As Jackie says in the little piece, when you click on it, 1 in 3 families will be afflicted with dementia, and it will be and probably is the number 1 killer of all human beings right now. So please go out there to raceagainstdementia.com and make a donation. And that's good timing because the pace car has just settled into the stop position. The man will walk across the track with the green flag right now as he is, and then we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights out, and it is underway, and the Saudi Grand Prix is off to a great start, and both Red Bulls off to a very, very good start. Verstappen out front with Sergio Perez getting on the inside of that Ferrari. Is he going to make it past it? Right now, I don't know. But right now, the answer is no. Ferrari, the Charles Leclerc just took that position back again. But we seem to have had a pretty clean start, which is nice. This is a street course. Street courses can always be difficult because of how the cars get bunched up together. They're not quite as wide as the courses that are designed specifically for racing are. But we've had a really nice clean start so far, and let's see, we've probably got maybe the same as last year. We've got Red Bull out front, and we've got Ferrari in second, as we're on board with Ollie Beerman, and of course, the first lap or two is we've got Pierre Gasly, box. So I think, if I can listen in the background, I think Pierre Gasly he in the formation lap, he was complaining about his transmission not changing. So Gasly, they have to retire the car. So that car's got a mechanical failure. So Alpine, which came under its own controversies last year because they removed, and Max Verstappen's already got a 1.1 second lead on Leclerc, and we've just got a guy into the wall. It is Lance Stroll into the wall. We got a yellow flag. Are we going to have a red flag? This is going to be very interesting. We're 7 laps in. So do we start to think about changing tires, because the soft tire is probably only good for 12 to 15 laps, maybe 18 laps on this circuit. So we're going to see here in a minute whether a lot of these teams are going to start pulling in all their drivers and go to the hard tire now. Let's see what Hannah Schmidt does for the Red Bull team, because what she does is what the rest of the team will follow. So right now, as we watch Lance Stroll get out of his car, and let's see, I'm sure they'll show a replay here in a minute, but it looks like he just went straight on, straight on into the wall. So probably something happened before that. And they're bringing in Beerman now for tires. So Ferrari's taking the jump and taking the lead on this. So we're bringing one in. Let's see what happens to Lance Stroll. Ouch! He hit the wall on the left side of his car, and snapped off the tie rod so he had no steering now for the car. So that's all he could do was go straight on. Lucky he wasn't hurt. He's probably doing about 150 miles an hour at that stage. So by the time he hit the wall, he was probably doing somewhere just under 100 miles an hour. So as you might guess, a very quick stop. And remember, folks, it's not the speed that does the damage, okay? It is coming, and we're watching Red Bull now come in. Where are we? Got Magnussen in 12th and Hülkenberg in 9th. So if Hülkenberg can finish either where he is or 10th, I don't think he's not going to keep Beerman back. So he could finish in 10th. That's a point for the Haas team. Of course, last year the Haas team did this. They started up, they earned themselves some points, and then ended up dead last, right? So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Logan Sargent has finally got past Valtteri Bottas and now finds himself in 16th position. Danny Ricciardo now has DRS as we watch young Beerman just now go past Hülkenberg and put himself into 9th and put Hülkenberg back in 10th. So a very nice piece of driving there from the young Ferrari driver. So back to Ricciardo. He's got DRS on Bottas, but can he get past him? I don't know. His teammate is in 13th, so still not much better. One Alpine is out. Let's see, the Magnussen has just been handed, let's see this again. They took it, I think he's just been handed a 10-second penalty, but they're showing a replay of Beerman getting past Hülkenberg. So hopefully they put that up. I think I saw that Magnussen got a 10-second penalty for his altercation with Yuki Tsunoda. So talking to Tsunoda, he's in 13th position. He does have he has DRS on Magnussen, but that doesn't really matter because Magnussen will drop from where he is 10 seconds. He's going to be dead last. So Piastri, poor bugger, is still trying to get past Hamilton. Verstappen has just turned in the fastest lap again. Here we go. Penalty, Magnussen penalty, 10 seconds. 10-second penalty for that little altercation with Alex Albon. And it should have been. That was just, for a driver of his vintage, that was not a very bright move. It's really interesting when you're walking back in the paddock area where the drivers and teams are already there, and you see the drivers that really have really interesting, outgoing personalities. Danny Ricciardo, who was it? Somebody said during the week on one of the blogs or whatever that I read, that Ricciardo is an average driver with a great personality, which is what keeps him in Formula One. And I would tend to agree with that. But remember, these guys are not just drivers, they're salesmen. They're selling the team. They're all the time out there pushing for dollars from sponsors, which, by the way, to my friends at Liquid, I see your sponsorship up on the screen. Very, very interesting. I'll be hitting you up for some sponsorship dollars. Just a heads up. I see you on the ESPN, right below the ESPN logos there. So yeah, congrats to Liquid. For those of you that don't know, I do have a kind of a technical career on the other side of this podcast. Liquid is a very, very interesting company, especially if you're into distributed storage and stuff like that. You need to look up Liquid, Liquid. There you go, folks, at Liquid is a free plug. But anyway, back to the race after the free plug. Right rear. They had trouble getting the right rear wheel off. And so, yeah, that's some interesting happenings there. Mr. Verstappen decided, well, I'll drive a little faster now. With just 10 laps to go, Norris is 6 seconds behind Bierman. Can he make up 6 seconds in 10 laps? No. Hamilton's got DRS on Norris. Can Hamilton get past and make up that time? Let's see. My gut feel? No, he can't do it. There's just not enough time. That Ferrari of Bierman's is, although Hamilton just turned in the fastest lap and looked like he was going to put a move on Lando Norris there. Yeah, so the answer is I'm going to put my money on Bierman is going to finish in 7th place, because I just don't think those two cars have got the speed to make up that. Bierman's not slowing down any. When you look at the times, he's staying well within that. He was, in fact, he's reduced the time between himself and George Russell, as Mick Schumacher, who is the reserve driver for Mercedes, looks on and shakes his head at the performance of the Mercedes, because right now they're in 6th and 9th. And my gut feel is that's where they're going to finish the race. So at the end of today, we're going to have the Red Bulls hanging on easily in the Constructors' Championships. You're going to have Red Bull hanging on easily to first. Ferrari's going to be second, because they're going to finish 3rd and 7th. And then McLaren is going to come in 3rd, because they're going to finish 4th and 8th. And then Mercedes will come in. That's impressive through high speed. So Hamilton talking about how impressed with the McLaren he is, and with Lando Norris he is. Yeah, so Mercedes, who 3 years ago, the year that Verstappen won his first championship, Mercedes won the Constructors' Championship that year. So in 2 years, they've gone from 1st to 4th. And if you look at the faces of all of the folks looking at all the screens, that's got to be not a very good feeling, looking at the screens and looking at the data and going, yeah, we ain't got it. Especially because there was a lot of, especially during the kind of burn-in sessions in Bahrain, there was a lot of talk coming out that they thought that they had it. Of course, back then, because this was the week before the first week, the news media was focused on stuff that was all wrong, even though they're so smart and they've got it all down. And Christian Horner should resign immediately, because we, the media, know that the rumors are true. Well, they weren't, were they? And that's one of the things I warned about. These rumors, these things, these are not good for either men or women, because when women have a legitimate complaint, they're not going to be believed. Norris is still 13 seconds back. He is having a bit of a fight with Hamilton. That's interesting. They're worried about Lando Norris, but they're not worried about George Russell and Ollie Beerman. That's interesting. And Hamilton now has lost the DRS to Hamilton. Hamilton's lost the DRS to Norris, so that's interesting. Oh, that's kind of a naughty thing that that Norris is doing there. He's kind of trying to get out of the slipstream, but there's rules. You can't zigzag across the straight like that, and you can't move under braking. You've got to stay in that straight line under braking. So if a guy can outbrake you, then that's part of racing. So I wonder if you'll get any penalty for that. That's going to be interesting to see. I haven't seen that in a while. The last time I think I saw that was Hamilton doing that to Verstappen, and Verstappen complaining about it, 3-4 years ago. But right now, all the Verstappen fans are out there shaking their little flags and all that kind of stuff. Right now, where are we? Daniel Ricciardo is up to 17th, so he's managed to get from 19th, and that's because that car's out, of course. And so now they're predicting that Lando Norris will be within striking distance of overtaking Oliver Beerman in 6 laps, and there's 7 laps to go. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens here as we watch Christian Horner looking on, and we see Hannah Schmidt there doing her stuff. That's just one incredibly smart lady. If you haven't heard me talk about her, black flag for Lando Norris. So that's a warning. If he does it again, then he'll get a point penalty. He'll get 5 points penalty for doing that. So he's not going to do that again. I don't know if he's going to have to, though, because Hamilton now has dropped 1.1 seconds back. So he's not even in DRS. And with 7 laps to go, Beerman Radio, let's see what they're saying. At this pace, will Norris catch us or not? So Ollie Beerman's, we believe so in 4 laps. Okay. So vote driver of the day. Well, I would think you'd have to give it to little Ollie Beerman. He's certainly, for a rookie, he's scoring points. Oh, and everybody agreed. Well, every 36% of the people. Wait, who have we got in the pits? It's Joe Granu that's in the pits. That puts Hulkenberg up to 10th. So Hulkenberg, if it finishes now, which it will, his teammates still blocking him. So Hulkenberg is going to end up with, what did they bring Joe Granu in for so late? It's funny, Alfa Romeo, which was, I think they were number 3 in the Constructors' Championship in 2021. Right now, they're dead last. Well, it might be, no, they're not. It's going to be a fight. It's a fight. Well, no, Alpine's dead last. And then it's Sauber, which was the Alfa Romeo team. Yeah, that's just crazy. Just crazy. And actually, Haas, like this time last year, is not going to have that bad a finish. They're going to finish 10th and then 10 seconds. They're going to finish 10th and 16th. So that means Ricciardo is going to move up to 15th. And let's see, and Tsunoda, actually, if Logan Sargent, how far away is Hamilton being a Redo? Don't worry about Hamilton. It's Norris you got to worry about. But anyway, it shows you what that young man's thinking about. Alex Albon just jumped up to 12th. That's where he's going to finish. Gap to Hamilton, 4.8 seconds. For Beerman was 6 with 5 laps. They're on lap 45. Like I said, I just don't see any way those guys are going to catch him. I don't think they're making up over a second a lap. They might be, but I'm not seeing it on the time tracker on the side of the TV where they tell you the distance between the cars as we are on board. These cameras, when they're on board with it, it makes it look like that poor driver's being shaken to death, and he is a little bit, but nowhere near as bad as what the onboard cameras show it to be. So Alex Albon here passing the Esteban Ocon So Williams are not going to be that unhappy with today. They're not going to be happy because they're not going to get any points, but they're doing better than last week. So they're making, because Logan Sargent was dead last week, he's going to finish 15th, and Albon, who was I think 13th or 14th last week, is going to finish 12th. Now last week Alex Albon of course got hit as he did this week. But they'll be a little happier. And of course, the Haas cars have started out this year like they started out last year. So they're not going to be unhappy. They're going to get a point. And Norris is 3.4 seconds behind with 4 laps to go. So like I said, I just don't think that those guys can catch him. And the good news for Norris is that Hamilton is 1.1 second behind. So he doesn't even have DRS. So right now, that's where those two are going to finish. Hamilton's going to finish 9th, and Norris is going to finish 8th. Oh, here's a surprise. Verstappen's going to win, and Perez is going to come 2nd. Wow, that's kind of surprising, isn't it? We haven't seen that happen before. Oh, well, we did last week. That's right. Last week. This is almost a repeat of last week, other than Carlos Sainz was 3rd and not Charles Leclerc. But let's see what they're going to say. No, not going to show us. I think that didn't come up on the screen what he was saying, but I'm going to bet that they're telling him that he's going to finish 7th, because that right now that's where he is. He has lost a little time to George Russell. He's lost about a second, but Hamilton is still 3 seconds behind as we watch the head of Ferrari going up and congratulating Beerman's father. What's interesting is the head of Ferrari looks like he's 35 years old. He might be. They bring in these Beerman as we watch him going across the curb a little bit there, but didn't seem to bother him too much. Just keeping that car under a nice steady control. As we're down now to 3 laps to go. So 3 laps, and Hamilton now got DRS again on Norris. So that'll be the thing now to see who ends up in 9th. Is it going to be Hamilton or is it going to be Norris? And he just shut down the DRS as he comes into the turns. And it looks like the McLaren actually has better acceleration speed as we watch again Hamilton with DRS, but he can't get past him on there either. And it's funny, these McLaren cars, the color seems to change in the different lights, like a light orange and then a dark orange. Vote driver of the day. It's going to be Beerman. Let's face it. Little kid has driven in an amazingly good race. He's up to 43% now. 8% are voting for Hamilton and 6% for Perez. I don't think either one of those guys needed being voted for. I would give Piastri a vote, and then Kevin Magnussen, because he's done a hell of a job of keeping all of those cars behind him, which were probably better, faster cars, especially that Williams. And he's done a remarkably good job of keeping those guys back there. So that's who I would give driver of the day to, is Beerman. And then my second choice would be Piastri and then Magnussen. Piastri, for no other reason, he did not get past Hamilton till Hamilton pulled off for tires. But he didn't crash either trying to get past him. And that's where you see a lot of these drivers finally get so frustrated they crash. We saw that last year when George Russell, he was maybe a lap from the end and ran into the wall just trying to get past somebody. So, as we watch, if Beerman looks in his rearview mirror, he will see both Norris and Hamilton. And here's a nice thing, as long as those two are fighting, then they're not making that much ground up. Let's see where they are in terms. Hamilton's 0.8 of a second behind Norris, Now he's a full second behind, so now he doesn't have DRS anymore, 1.2 seconds behind. So again, that McLaren seems to have a better acceleration out of the turns than the Mercedes. But let me tell you, folks, if this had been Hamilton in 2021, he would have been past that car. Hamilton today is not the driver that he was 2 to 3 years ago. 3 laps to go, and now Norris has got 1.4 seconds on him. Hamilton does not have it. You know what I call it? You know, he just has lost that whatever it takes to be world champion again. He doesn't have it. To win a race again, I don't think he has it. When you watch him driving, you watch some of the things that he's doing on the car. Yes, some of it's the car, but it's all. George Russell's up there in 6th. 3 places ahead of him. George Russell is probably putting in better times than he is right now, and he's on the older tires. So yeah, and let's see, 3 laps to go, 2.3 seconds behind Bierman. No, Bierman is going to finish 7th, folks. That is a hell of a day and a hell of a drive, assuming he doesn't do anything stupid here in these last 3 laps. That is one incredible drive for that young driver. Obviously, he's got a Formula One future ahead of him. He cemented that, assuming he finishes where he does today, he cemented that firmly in place. As we watch Max Verstappen lapping some of the back-end cars. So again, Verstappen's going to go pole to finish. Oh, he's let his teammate catch up a little bit. He's only got 6.7 second lead. And you can actually see him in the background there at the end of the straight on his teammate, Sergio Perez. But I don't think that Red Bull is going to be that happy, even though Perez is second. I don't think they're going to be. I think they want to see him within 1, maybe 2 seconds of Verstappen, because they want the second car to be that dominant over the field as well. And it's not bad. He's going to finish 12 seconds ahead of the 3rd place car. I don't think you can complain about that. Leclerc's driven a nice race. The team's given him a nice car, and the strategy has been good. Leclerc's going to finish 3rd, which I think nice for him. But I think that Red Bull want to see Perez finishing within 1 or 2. As we watch, Danny Ricciardo is about to take over 15th. No, whoa! Danny Ricciardo's just lost 2 places. He lost. No, he didn't. No cars in his sight. Let's see if he can see if he can get there. That is crazy. Let's see what happens. He goes in. No, that's not him. That's we're watching the Lando Norris Lewis Hamilton battle, but it's not a battle anymore because Norris has got a 1.5 second lead over, and we're on the last lap, and so that all that worry for Bierman about being taken over, Norris is going to finish a full 2.4 seconds behind him. So yeah, and Hamilton's 1.3 behind that. So the tires went away quickly on them, and Bierman still did a really good job of driving through to the end. So let's see, where's Ricciardo? Yeah, Ricciardo spun out and didn't lose his position. That shows you how far behind Valtteri Bottas was. Bottas is in 17th, Joe Granu in 18th. So Yuki Tsunoda's 14th. So those 2 teammates are about the same. Let's see, Esteban Ocon for Alpine is going to finish 13th. So again, a kind of miserable day for everybody except Haas, I guess. Although I got to say, Williams are probably happy with where they are. Mercedes cannot be happy at all. I mean, they're quickly going from the best team to the one-of teams. And Verstappen's going to cross the line a full 8-9 seconds ahead of his teammates. And so they're going to say to Sergio, well done, Sergio, what took you so long, right? because your teammate finished here a little while ago, as you see the. As you see, and oh, by the way, incidentally, folks, sorry, I just saw her on TV. Great news for women out there who want to be part of Formula One. Red Bull have a female mechanic this year, so they got female engineers, they got female strategists, and now they've got a female mechanic. So great things, great to see. It's just a wonderful thing to see on these sides. So Max Verstappen has come in first. Sergio Perez has come in second. Charles Leclerc has come in third, and and Perez nearly lost it coming around the final turn right there. When I say he's come in third, it was because he was coming around the corner, but he nearly lost it. And young Bierman has come in seventh. So just an incredible drive by that young man. And I'm sure everybody in the Ferrari team is very happy for him. And so as we continue the 2023 season into 2024 here, we're going to hope that as the tracks change, as conditions change, we're going to see a little more competition, because quite frankly, we saw very little competition in the race today. The biggest competition was really between Oscar Piastri and Lewis Hamilton. And it really, it even though it was a little exciting, I guess it's not and then you saw good teamwork, excellent teamwork from Kevin Magnussen. But this is not going to hold Ferrari's Formula One's team audience by having this kind of thing. The great thing about 2021 is there was a battle every race, and 2020 to that extent, a battle all the time between Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and between Red Bull, and then you had other guys coming in there and winning races, occasionally Ferrari and stuff like that, and Sebastian Vettel coming in, who's since retired. But anyway, folks, it's the end of another Formula One race week, and we're off next weekend. We will do a history of Formula One, hopefully. Don't see any reason why we won't. And then it's Australia. So of course that's a funny time zone for us up here. So, but we will bring that to you, and hopefully by then some of these other cars will make some upgrades, although it's very early in the season for upgrades. But we certainly want to go ahead first and thank our sponsors. Thanks to Moms for Liberty, doing everything for you that they can to bring some semblance of normalcy back to the classroom, and trying to get you guys to become part of your school boards, get involved with teaching, Parent Teachers Association, join one of the nearly 300 chapters out there. Please, please, please get involved, and let's get science and technology and engineering. Let's get all of the normal subjects back into the schools. We don't need to be pushing off all these social issues after these young kids. Try confusing them about whether they're a boy or a girl or a boy. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So please go to momsforliberty.org. That is momsforliberty.org. And of course, our friends at Give, Send, Go. You can't always help what happens to you in life, but you can help yourself by choosing the right partner to help you through tough times. So when you need extra cash, maybe you got friends that need extra cash. Maybe you just want to help somebody that's in need, somebody that their house burned down, or they had a bad car accident, they need help. Then please go to Give, Send, Go to help yourself out, to help your friends out, or to help other people who've had just a tough time. Help them out. Or you may be wanting to start a business. Just go there and help them help you, and go to givesendgo.com. And then, of course, if you are in need of technology, I'm talking about any kind of technology. You heard me talk about liquid there during the broadcast. If you need to help get the liquid technology into your business, you need to go to Synology. They are the technology experts. They've got a private cloud, a public public cloud. They do disaster recovery. They do co-location, managed services. They do all things technology. So please go to Thenology.com. That is Thenology.com. And of course, we're going to finish every race, every broadcast this year by encouraging you to go to raceagainstdementia.com. That's raceagainstdementia.com, an organization started by Sir Jackie Stewart to help all folks with dementia. Of course, Jackie's family is his wife, Helen. And guys, these guys are very famous guys. And this guy has been married to this woman. Let's see, he's probably 60 years, maybe more than a little 60 years. And they've been faithfully by each other's side through thick and thin. A great example of a great marriage. And now she needs him a little more than he needs her, let's say. But he's there and he's going way over the top. Got this organization going, hiring some of the best people in the world to try and find a cure for dementia, because it's going to affect 1 in 3 families, not just here in the United States, but throughout the world. So please go to raceagainstdementia.com. And of course, we can't finish a podcast without saying thank you to our all things technical, Andre Kuhn, producer, all things technical, editor, everything, you name it, Andre is it. I'm just the mouthpiece. And he has to make my mouth sound good and my face look good. And let me tell you, that's not easy. So thank you, Andre Kuhn, for everything you do. Folks, we will see you next week. And this is Jonathan Steele saying, have a great rest of your weekend and have a great week. And we'll see you next week.